Hello.
Dear guests, dear members, we welcome you here. We thank you all for attending, and we hope you enjoyed our first part of the event. Now we start our second part, which is basically the presentation about TechIsland and our achievements. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tanya Romaniuha. I am head of operations in TechIsland.
And I'm Marios Georgoudis, the general manager of TechIsland. We found this way of making the presentation, so you will be alerted all the time, exchanging the view.
Basically, it is for intention we make the whole reset up, because we are all a community here, and for us it's important to grow the community and for all of you to be mixed, to have a networking, to sit face-to-face to each other and really have the dialogue. It is the first time in our life, I would say even, that we decided to do such kind of the General Assembly in order to share the views, to share our achievements, to get to know your feedback, to get to know your vision on what we should focus on. And today, you see the QR code on all of the screens behind you and in front of you. You can scan the QR code with your phone, and you will see the screen. Basically, there is two sections, Q&A section and polls section. During the presentation, we will make very short and very simple questions to you in order to learn your feedback and see what are your thoughts about our activities. On the Q&A section, you can ask any question you want during the presentation, and all those questions will lay till the final slide, and they all will be gathered, and we can start the discussion. Also, there is a possibility to just raise your hand, take the mic, and voice over your question to the audience. Just a quick heads up. Again, TechIsland, we are a non-profit organization that was established in 2021, and we are basically tech association. Our mission is to turn Cyprus into a world-class destination for talent and accelerate the growth of the tech sector and make it as the biggest contributor to the GDP.
Okay, so the first question for you, so you can start getting familiar with Slido, is, are you a member of TechIsland? Yes, no, in the qualification process, applied?
For us, it's important to see who is within the audience, because now I see different faces, and some of them I know definitely that are not members of TechIsland. So half and a half. Important to mention, once you scanned the QR code, you can just watch the same link, and the questions will be changing. So you don't need to scan QR code again. Just once, and that's all.
And also, if you want to become members of TechIsland, you can enter our website, thetechisland.org, and you can apply to be members.
So, our priorities. We want and we made a voice for tech industry, and with the united tech industry, we intend to make the better operating environment, both for companies and the talents which are located here. We want to make the better regulatory and legal framework. We want to build globally recognized brand for Cyprus as an innovation leader. We want to unify tech communities under one umbrella and unite all together under the same mission which we all share, and create long-lasting social impact on society.
Of course, to have a strong tech sector in Cyprus has multiple benefits for Cyprus. Of course, we are strengthening the Cyprus brand as a destination for tech companies. The continuous arrival of international tech companies is improving the international business and the investment in innovative businesses that are based or starting from Cyprus. The local industries are being benefit from the companies and the talent that are coming to Cyprus. The same applies for the local economy directly or indirectly through taxation and the spending in the local economy. And of course, the human capital, the existing in Cyprus, the local, will be upskilled from the specialists that are coming to Cyprus. But at the same time, the companies that are coming to Cyprus and they are generating job positions that are challenging and with challenging salaries can act as a magnet for a Cypriot diaspora to relocate back to the country. At this moment, as Stylianos mentioned before during his presentation, we have more than 200 companies as members that employ more than 18,000 people in Cyprus and another 35,000 people outside Cyprus. So you can imagine the prospect how this ecosystem can grow. Out of these 200 companies, 130 companies are international. And within 2022, our companies relocated more than 5,000 people in Cyprus.
And the question to members of TechIsland, and basically who are not members, it's also interesting to know when you will apply, what is your main intention? So when you first joined TechIsland as a member, what were your priorities in terms of what would you like to achieve? Is it improve regulatory tax or migration frameworks, or advocacy and protection of IT business, networking, gaining useful industry and ecosystem insights, improving the IT education sector, promoting Cyprus as a tech island, or finding an investor for my business? So you can open the same link and make your vote. So the main points is improve regulatory tax migration framework, promote Cyprus, and networking.
Actually, these questions are very important for us as well, because with this way we can include in our strategy how we can approach the future initiatives that we are running. So thank you for giving us the feedback and answering this. In terms of the statistics of our member companies and the areas that they are operating and the subcategories of technology, we see that the large majority of the members of TechIsland, they are into fintech. And we have a big percentage of gaming companies as well that are registered as TechIsland members, but they are operating from Cyprus. What, in my perception, stand out from this pie chart is the percentage of the venture capitals that at least are members of TechIsland. Because I was part of this ecosystem for the last, since 2015, until a few years ago, we didn't have more than 1 or 2 venture capitals. Pani, if I'm wrong, please.
Raise your voice.
Yeah, but at this moment, this shows also the growth that the ecosystem is showing, and slowly we're becoming a tech island. And this is reflected to the number of companies and the type of companies that are operating in Cyprus.
Just to clarify, because you asked me. Sorry. All these people that you see in the room, the VCs, they are here like 5-10 years now, most of them. What the platform that you launched did, it showed to the world, not only Cyprus, globally, the transparency. And we actually have these 500 companies and these 100
Was
more
referring to VCs?
and VCs. And yeah, but these people, they were here the last 10 years. I knew about them. For some of them, I already wrote about them. Natalia also wrote about them. Investnik Ibra. They were here. They are here many years, operating from here, but nobody knew about them.
So we found a platform that
yeah,
everyone
your
is
platform, what it did, it was amazing because he put all these 500 companies and VCs out in the world because it's a global platform. And now everybody knows that there is 500 plus companies and how many VCs.
We will tell about it later.
Don't, you are ruining our presentation. So in terms of creating a better regulatory framework for companies and talent, what we managed to work until now to improve was the improvement of the taxation regime for individuals that was actually voted in July. We managed to improve a migration framework for companies and talents. We are in the process of improving the regulatory framework for real estate investors, for the introduction of a business visa, the update of the naturalization law, issues that have to do with the banking compliance, proposals regarding stock options, and what we have in the pipeline that we want to start and we didn't start yet, it's the development of a new curricula with academia for the upskilling and reskilling of professionals. In terms of working with the authorities, since the beginning of the year, we managed to actually the government to pass the family reunification visa for spouses with access to the labor market. Of course, as I mentioned before, the new tax law was approved and now offers one of the most competitive tax frameworks, at least in Europe. And the naturalization law was submitted a few weeks ago for discussion to the Parliament, which is also a very good update for the people that are coming to Cyprus to have the opportunity to base their life here as well.
And my suggestion would be, as I know that some of you came to me in personal meetings and questions about the taxation law and one obstacle which arises from it, and also about the recent updates from Immigration Department. So what you can do now, you now can raise a hand and we can start the discussion. Or you can, again, open the QR code, and you have it here in case you lost, and ask the question to this slide, and we will go back to you. So it's up to you, basically. Other points which are under this priority is that we are closely working with Migration Department, and we are facilitating relocation of companies in the way of providing knowledge, information, relevant contact. We launched a relocation guide to Cyprus. Also, we are now in the process of launching the knowledge base, which will be on our website with all the answers on different questions for relocating business or relocating as a talent here in Cyprus. And we want this platform to be like a crowdsourcing, basically community-based knowledge base. When you can share your updates, we can incorporate them in the content and share within the relevant people. Also, we are in the process of launching directory of the vendors. Basically, what we want to do, we want to, everybody in all the companies need the trustful content and contacts and reliable partners which can execute things smoothly and in the level we all expected, yes? So we want to do, again, community source vendors directory with perks for our members, and together with ratings, comments, and feedback from the community to different vendors, so that we can all choose the most appropriate. Also, we were working with, you mentioned this, naturalization. So
the next question is the actions that TechIsland is taking in terms of communicating with politicians and having legislation change, in your perception, are excellent, very good, good, fair, poor, or you don't know?
not the highest point yet.
There is always
There
room
is
for
room
improvement.
for improvement. Okay, let's go next. One of the important priorities for us is to give back to the community and make social projects. What we do in TechIsland, we have managed to build the, let's say, complex platform for CSR activities and unite our members for different causes. I would say, and I'm honored to say this, that up to the point, our members altogether donated more than 6 million euro to different causes, started from COVID, to wildfire in Cyprus, to humanitarian causes, education for kids, sport events, and also eco problems. Next year, we are planning to do the, let's say, TechIsland party or gala dinner. We're still in the process of defining the concept of this event. But we are, the communication about the event will be communicated further, but we're always looking for sponsors and partners for such kind of activities in order to give back to society of Cyprus.
So the next question is, how do you perceive the actions that TechIsland is taking in launching and facilitating corporate social responsibility projects?
This is the highest result. By the way, TechIsland is a charitable organization for all those who didn't know. So all your donations is tax deducted.
Okay, so as we mentioned before, we have also, Stylianos mentioned it, we have working groups that they work in different thematics and they come up with suggestions that are communicated to the government in order to make the necessary changes to improve the conditions for companies and talent to work. Regarding the work that the policy-making working group brought forward was, of course, the successful adoption of the new tax bill. We have managed to communicate the importance of the update of the current naturalization law and was reflected, that was submitted a few weeks ago to the Parliament for discussion. We are in discussion with the relevant ministries of the government to introduce a new type of visa, the business visa, that actually will enable employees of companies that are based in Cyprus to be able to bring their employees in Cyprus for business reasons, seminars, trainings, or other purposes. And we're in discussion regarding the introduction of a new tax framework for the stock options.
We also have HR working group, and starting from February, we assisted for the safe relocation of more than 5,000 professionals with their families in Cyprus. For that purpose, we have been doing the numerous meetings with Migration Department, and we still have online Zoom meetings with a group of HR directors of our member companies together with directors from migration to share the challenges and obstacles which companies are facing with working visas. Also, we are constantly doing notifications for different changes in procedures, and you may all know 3 recent updates for companies and for visitors visas and also new, let's say, facilitation measures. So we can also today it openly discuss. We have some ideas in mind what to do with it, but it's also important to know your constant feedback on different matters. Also, we have banking compliance working group, and the goal of this working group is to educate banks and simplify the operations procedures for companies in dealing with Cypriot banks. Now it's a lot of red tapes are there, and we are constantly communicating with this industry, and to the point we already met all the banks in Cyprus and communicated the weaknesses which we are facing and which the banking sector has. We also met Banking Association, Central Bank, and now we're in the process of forming subgroups within different subsectors, so that we can start educate middle management, because we were meeting with, let's say, decision makers, and now we need to educate middle managers on different complex business models of tech industry and different subsectors. Next point is our working group for startups. And we were communicating several proposals to the government related to startups, but the biggest achievement which we had within this group is that in October we launched the Cyprus Tech Ecosystem Map, which is basically platform mapping all the companies. It is open access database with startups, companies, accelerators, investors, service providers, basically all the innovation ecosystem players. It's free accessible. Anyone with their LinkedIn profile or with their corporate email can register the company, can include all the data there. And it is the global platform. It's available not only in Cyprus, because we did it together with Deal Room. And we plan further to accelerate and include more and more companies and do their reports based on the data we gathered on the platform. We also have the live dashboards there. It's interesting project, so definitely recommended to check.
So the next question is, according to you, what achievement do you believe was the most important facilitated by TechIsland? The launch of the new tax framework, the access to the labor market for spouses, the launch of the Cyprus Tech Ecosystem Platform, the TechIsland Summit, seminars, or the CSR projects?
A few more seconds to finish, and we are moving forward. For next year, we plan to launch 3 working groups: education, real estate, and venture capital. All of you heard the problems which were discussed today by the candidates, basically the lack of schooling, affordable housing, lack of infrastructure. We in TechIsland found this format of working groups where we all together brainstorming the issues, solutions, and in proper way communicating it to relevant stakeholders. So now it's the time to tackle a few more important obstacles for basically for our industry to grow and for everyone to live a better life. And Venture Capital Working Group, we see the huge race, I would say, of the startups coming to Cyprus and entrepreneurs which started to launch startups. We do have investors and high net worth individuals within the community, and we want to find a way how to facilitate connections between startups and investors and how to improve the whole ecosystem for investors.
In terms of the collaboration that TechIsland proceed with within this year was the signing of a strategic partnership with the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That actually the TechIsland is the first tech association that is going to make this partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, and that includes participation in missions abroad that are organized by the Chamber, or the consultation for issues that go to the Parliament that have to do with technology. We managed to go forward with the collaboration with the Amazon Web Services, which basically it's for startups, and it's $10,000 activate credits valid for 2 years from AWS, and 1 year support of AWS business support, which worth up to 1,500. Last, we had a collaboration with the Cyprus IT, which is powered by TechIsland, which is the Cyprus Russian IT community, and we are supporting it as TechIsland.
Yeah, Russian speaking, basically for expats coming from XCC.
Exactly.
Yeah, countries. Okay, so we managed to organize or co-organize 8 big events this year. In April, we had co-organized Europe in Crisis, Dynamics and Implications for the Cyprus Economy. We had in September Cyprus Forum side event and Top Creator side event. We launched in October Cyprus Tech Ecosystem Platform and made our TechIsland Summit in partnership with Reflect Festival. And in December, we had breakfast with ambassadors and presidential elections debate.
In terms of training and seminars, we conducted a seminar focused on transfer pricing and new regulation that is coming in force next year. We had a seminar on the intellectual property box and a session on relocation as well. And we have in the pipeline for the next year to include a number of trainings and seminars focusing on different elements useful for tech companies.
And we intend to do it monthly. We also had how to approach investor workshop. The actions TechIsland is taken for community engagement, how would you perceive? Excellent, very good, good, fair, poor, don't know. Few more seconds for voting. Nobody, somebody gave us. I wanted to say that nobody is given bad marks, but thank you. Bad marks are also a sign where we can do better. Okay, next.
This year as well, we were invited to present at international organizations that they came in Cyprus to write their reports for the economy of Cyprus. And as the biggest tech association of the country representing the tech sector, we presented TechIsland at a delegation that came from International Monetary Fund to make the report for Cyprus. And recently, we went to a delegation that was representing European Commission, and were monitoring actions of Recovery and Resilience Fund, and we presented the tech sector to them as well.
We made a few magazines, English and Greek, Gold magazine and Forbes magazine, together with interviews from the stakeholders, ministers, our members, and we will proceed a lot of PR activities, and for sure we are welcoming our members to participate in such activities. So, just because next year we're planning to do monthly different formats of networking activities, for us it's important to learn what would be your preferred method of getting to know the other association members, because we saw that basically networking is #1 reason why our members join organization. In-person networking events, it's clear now.
I think the message is clear, 96%.
Okay, so what kind of members engagement we plan to do and doing right now as well? We have our monthly digest. We have a chat and channel for community members, and you're always welcome to raise any topics you want. We plan to conduct again TechIsland Summit and annual gala dinner or party. We are planning to do seminars and presentation more often, maybe monthly, and also monthly networking events in different formats.
So the next question is, how likely would you be to recommend association membership with TechIsland to another company, business associate, or friends, based on what you know until now for TechIsland and watching the areas that TechIsland is operating in?
Few more seconds and let's go. Okay, so we are now in the process of making the strategy for the next year. We shared with you what we have in our pipeline and what we think that it is important. Now is your turn to share with us. Here is the poll, but we also have an open question where you can add extra points of what you think and what is available for you, and how we as Tech Association can serve the needs better. And what I also want to emphasize, that we are not just an, let's say, passive institution which is doing something on your behalf. We want to make the community where people are initiating some projects, working groups, and you're free to do it. If you see the interesting problem to tackle, you're free to come to us and say, let's do something with it. I know with whom we can unite and how we can solve this problem. So for us, it's important. This year, we were mostly, let's say, focused on fundamentals. We want to, not to shift, but to add extra networking and community engagement. So we are open to any suggestions you have. If we have a brand of Cyprus as an innovation hub globally as one of the important focus which we need to achieve, then maybe I will go straight to the, not to go back, to the open question. Don't do it. Okay. We'll move to the open question in the last point. But now maybe you can think on the ideas how to make Cyprus and how to make brand of Cyprus an innovation hub globally.
So until today, the work of TechIsland was based on the donation by the board members and some companies, friends of TechIsland. We plan in 2023 to introduce a membership model which basically will allow to add other initiatives in the scope of work. And we structure the membership model based on the level of engagement that a company wants to be engaged in TechIsland. By the way, this membership model with the membership policy, within the next days, we will send it to all our members via email. And we have 3 different categories for the members. We have the community members, the supporting members, and the contributor members. In terms of the affiliate members, which basically are the service providers, we have an annual fee based on their size. We have a flat fee for the VC funds and another fee for associated members.
And most of our members are software companies, so we try to use the way of how we can structure the membership model close to you as much as possible. Basically, the lowest one, which is free. It is the access to chat, to newsletter, and support in relocation requests and assistance and facilitation of the relocation. The middle size membership format is also newsletter, chat, but also the participation in the working group, access to networking events, access to directory of vendors, participation in business missions abroad. We are planning 2 now on CES and on DLD. CES is the conference in the USA, and DLD, big conference in Israel. And again, direct support in relocation issues. And for the highest number, we will add and we will propose additional PR activities. For those members, we can do personal introductions to other members or help solve issues with the different government departments, and again, everything else which was mentioned before. This is the open question on how TechIsland can be more available to you, and you're free to share any thoughts and feedback. Or you can just take the mic and we can start the discussion. Three participants typing. More activities with the government. I would like to ask to elaborate on this question. More activities meaning more events like we did today, or more networking activities where you can, I don't know, get access to the body. So what kind of activities you would like to see with the government?
Maybe it's referring to more changes that will enable the growth of technology, but...
Yes. Let's...
Thank you so much, Konstantin. In my opinion, as I saw today during these debates, this is, keep going. This is a very nice thing, but when you decided to promote the TechIsland all over the world, you need to prepare the very good government base, not only the law, but how it works, like a working group with them, which is checking the results of your activity and activity of the governments and all the things that they said they are ready to proceed. For this, I think this is the most important thing. So afterwards, it's going to be much easier to build a global brand as a tech island.
Fair point. Christina also wanted to. No?
Try this one.
All right, I'll just shout.
No, don't need.
All right, so do you hear me now?
Yes.
Great, awesome. I'm going to touch on the point with the government initiatives, and I'm going to, honestly open up about how I feel today, and hopefully there are others in the room that feel the same way. I think the word incentive was passed way too generically today, personally, and I'm leaving with the generic word of incentive, right? What are these incentives? So I think the opportunity for us as a community of Who Tech Island, these members, to be able to ask very specific kind of questions, I think it's, and I hate to say this with not being so probing, for them to listen to us as a community. I think we've given them a platform that we're listening, but again, we're hearing a lot of generic terms. So maybe it's the time to ask a little bit more specific terminology so that we can get what exactly we're asking for, specific to our industries. I don't know.
Any other points someone wants to add? Konstantinos?
Hi. I just want to say I would like to see also more collaboration between the members. It will be very important to see actual services of the companies here to be promoted to the companies, because the membership is already big, and we can enable something like an open call for collaboration between the members. It doesn't have to be financially controlled or anything, just to promote the products between the companies and the services. I think this will be easy and valuable.
Hello. It's on the board as well. One of my questions is, because I'm working with several startups abroad as well, and I always referring to Cyprus as the best, if they have IPs, as the best destination to register for their IPs, so they get the tax benefits. But what the answers are, even some companies that have been working with other companies in Cyprus, they know about Cyprus, but they don't know this tax regime as a tax incentive enough, is not known as in, and it's the best in the world actually, with Luxembourg, if I'm not right. So I think it will help a lot the brand of Cyprus for the tech islands as well, to know, to promote more of the, except from other relocation factors and challenges, of course, but the IP regime POCs has to be promoted more to make some companies register at least the IPs, and then they see the benefits. I see it as a better, like a marketing activity too. So they get to know first and benefits from Cyprus before they bring here the headquarters and big offices and so on.
Hi. Someone else? Hi, I'm Panis. I'm a startup journalist. Yesterday, I don't know if you know, some journalists came with an invitation of another entity, Invest Cyprus.
Mike Butcher, you mean?
Yeah, and Mike was one of them. Other people also came.
I think Mike promoted himself among the community.
Okay, Mike does not want to, he also called me in 24 hours. I sent an email to 200 startups. They came, because Mike, one of the comments of Mike, I don't want to say, please don't take it racistly, but he told me that, okay, I have seen a lot of Russian-speaking startups. I didn't see any Cypriot-oriented.
So we did an event, but we had also Russian companies. It was great. But what I'm saying about branding and etc. I also wrote an article in Cyprus Mail about the vision of this startup innovation. What you are doing, TechIsland, you are doing very well. You have also Reflect, is doing an amazing job in community, etc. And the platform, etc. But we need to stop branding Cyprus as a tax haven. Tech tax, IP regime, and all this. We have so many other stuff. We have AdTech, they made a hackathon. We have Peter there, he's doing amazing with excellence events, community events. We need to start getting out these stories. I don't know what you plan to do in DLT, etc., but you need to get out storytelling and get all these amazing things that is happening in the last years. I think Reflect has done that the last years locally. There is an opportunity here. Sorry, Stylianos, I will say that, but okay. There is an opportunity, if you want, to discuss with Web Summit and bring Web Summit a version in Cyprus. So because they cannot do one in Israel. And they want to attract Israelis. So Cyprus can be a great, and if you bring Web Summit in Cyprus, then you'll have everybody here. Only by doing that. It costs a few millions, but okay. But in general, okay, be careful also what you're planning to do in DLT, in branding. I'm here if you want to help, etc., because that was my job the last 20 years as a growth marketeer also and journalist. How you are going to brand this. And I would love to help anything in terms of that. But this is my suggestion to all of you, even if you are legal, if you are tax. I understand a lot of legal people, they want to get business right now. It's a very good opportunity. But you need to give storytelling out there. Peter, Alexei Gubarev, actually in your last TechIsland Summit, the word that they said was safety. This is why they came to Cyprus. They didn't came for the tax. The tax, they can find it. They can go to Caribbean, they can go to BVI, and they will have zero tax if they want to take their teams there. But there is other stuff around it. I convert with Yannos. Let's see how we can get out this storytelling, these good things, these Cypriot companies like some Cypriot was acquired by Pinterest. I mean, the two projects of Sergei Voci and other people. Let's get all these stories out there. 12 years ago, Viper was a Cypriot company, was acquired, it was featuring TechCrunch. And let's hope Mike writes a nice article in TechCrunch for us. Because nobody knows what Mike can do. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ugna. I represent the fintechs of Cyprus. Actually, my suggestion was also on the board, and I kind of follow also everything that was discussed. And I think there should be more interaction from the members of the TechIsland, and I think more attention should be put in general of what the members also require and what kind of incentives we need, right? Honestly, as a fintech company, I don't believe that my interest is really represented. I do see a lot of good initiatives also from the TechIsland side, but I think it's really important that you also evaluate and to see what other kind of big industries are growing and have a huge potential also to add to Cyprus and to focus and also to help us in whatever issues we have. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for me.
What kind of incentives do you require?
Not so much of incentives, but also to work because you lobby, obviously, in the government for certain problems, for taxation, for whatever else. Let's say for me, immigration is not such a big problem because we employ mostly European nationals, and I don't particularly, let's say, have an issue with that, right? But I have regulatory issues. I have things, that I want to discuss with the central bank. Also, lack of, let's say, banking opportunities also for companies like like ourselves, you know, our clients and so on and so forth. So there's many things that we really need help on, not so much of incentive per se. Of course, we also utilize incentive of tax and whatever else. But what I'm trying to say is that the issues that you represent, yes, for a lot of the companies is kind of, you know, key because, you know, you want to, you know, relocate, you know, people and all of this kind of stuff. That's perfectly fine. But there's plenty of companies, tech companies that don't have the same issues, but we have other issues, right, that we would like to also to be in the center and also discuss. So if you are also then, you know, later on also charging membership, which I think is a very good step because that also crystallizes who really wants to participate in the organization, right, and who wants to contribute more. And I would be glad to contribute more and to do that and to also voice and to speak also for other companies, you know, that require a certain assistance in Cyprus, because for us it's also not everything is very simple and not very easy.
One more question. What would be more suitable format for you to voice over the needs, for example, of the fintech industry?
I think there's several ways to do it. First of all, I think you should communicate to the members more. So basically really asking, not just kind of, you know, in this sort of format where we only have, you know, 26 or whatever, 30 people of us, you know, here, you have many members, you have many companies, right? So ask the question, what is it exactly that, you know, that is required, so that, you know, that you sift through the ideas, whether it's a format of also an open discussion where you invite everyone, whether it's during the monthly meetings, as you know, as you discussed, but that really that everyone would be represented, not only just certain companies in the organization.
Also was here the question. Stellana want to answer.
Thank you, Glenn, for your feedback. So we have been very agile the past 2 years, as any startup or technology companies. 1.5 years. And obviously, like, also we're accountable. We also did some things that maybe wasn't the right process or way. But for us, the most important value is to be inclusive. That's why we want everyone to be involved. And this is a platform that different opinions, also with Peter, we had some disagreements, but it's all about, you know, like doing the best for Cyprus. You know, like me and also Dusan, we're not hiring any people who are non-European, let's say, but we realize the importance of attracting this talent because it will help the economy and it will help Cyprus eventually. So whatever we do it for the best of the island and also to grow the technology sector, which we believe this will bring the sustainable growth to Cyprus. So like for us, feedback is really important, and I think one of our maybe weakness so far, we haven't engaged so much with the community, and I think we should start having more events, maybe like different platforms to communicate and bring everyone closer.
Just to finish off, I'm not saying that, you know, that the points that you are working on are not valid and that they are not needed. They are needed because there are a lot of companies that need that. The only thing that I'm saying is that you also should not look under and kind of not pass what is actually the needs of other companies that also have potential and huge potential also for growth, right? I can tell you the size of the fintech in many countries and smaller countries also even than Cyprus or slightly just bigger than Cyprus. The potential is huge. So not to focus also on that is just, from my side, is just not correct.
Okay, if I may give some more context from my point of view. I'm Valentinos, I'm representing Wargaming, okay, a company that is in Cyprus from 2012. I'm an active member of TechIsland and part of the board and executive committee. We need first of all to understand where we have been a year ago, not 10 years ago. Because we're not talking about Slovakia, we're not talking about Slovenia or other countries, we're talking about Cyprus. Basic things, they were not in place. And what we have achieved as a group of individuals, okay, with a lot of effort that a lot of people here have put out of their personal time, and with the corporate money and some individuals' money, is to put in place the frame as a foundation in order for us today to stand in front of you and speak on behalf of a community. Because there was nothing in place. If today we had the opportunity to bring the presidential candidates in front of us to speak to us, is because all together we have created an ecosystem. All of you, you have contributed into that. Why we have achieved so far in so little time is because we have remaining two basic principles, those fundamental things that goes across and horizontally all the companies to make sure that we will be in the position to get people in Cyprus, legitimate them in Cyprus, because indeed Europeans, they do not have problem. But unfortunately, or otherwise, the majority of the people that they have arrived, okay, strictly speaking, they were having no other opportunities to go in the last 6-7 months. It will be either Dubai or Turkey. So, bring those people safe in Cyprus, legitimate them, start integrate them into a community, find them place to live, school for their kids to go and continue education, and moving forward, incentivize them with the tax incentives and then with naturalization. Are those enough? No, they are not. You are more than welcome to join, and with your experience and your the things that you believe that are important, to empower us with more things into the agenda in order at the end of the day to continue contributing, not to our companies as such, but to the community and to the ecosystem. This is my personal approach to it. And I'm very happy that today we are in the position to have community. I mean, it's the first time that we are having a community and we are describing what we have done. And I repeat what Stylianos said, feedback is always welcome. Allow us the opportunity to do mistakes, because we have never done this before. We have never built an ecosystem or a community before. At least I have not. I don't know if you guys have done so before, or if you, Peter, you have done something before like this, or Alexei, or anyone else. So what we need to do is to be the representatives of the tech community in Cyprus, and always looking for things that sounds logical to people's representatives, because, sorry for taking too long. What was the advantage today? For me, it was that 3 candidates, they were all submitting our own arguments. Our own arguments, not the arguments of the 99.9% of their voters. What they were discussing publicly were what we need to grow. Okay, therefore, I believe, just to close it, wrap it up, very good job done, very good that we're having feedback. There are a lot of things that need to be done, but we cannot do miracles. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. With me, it's more a question. And first of all, of course, and especially after this speech, as a member of non-tech community, because I'm from real estate, but I'm very passionate about Cyprus in general. So definitely applaud your organization for everything that you're doing for promoting Cyprus. But today, when I was watching the presentation, I caught myself that I got a bit confused with terminology or with branding. So, and maybe this is just because I don't understand. So like when you're saying that we want to develop the brand of Cyprus as innovation hub. Okay. For me, innovation hub, immediately it's something about startups, about new people coming. Before, it was, in my head, the Tech Island is actually relocating existing companies to Cyprus, which is, again, in my brain as non-tech person, is slightly different. Then we go to Invest Cyprus and we hear that we bring headquarters to Cyprus. Okay, so in a way, maybe we're sending too many messages out. Maybe we need to understand, like, who are we? Are we innovation hub? Again, maybe innovation hub and place for existing technical companies, maybe it's the same. And it's just like, we don't understand it. So this is more a question. Is innovation hub equal to the place for existing companies to move and work and bring people and create ecosystem. So it's more of a question, and again, addition to all the great work that you have done.
Thank you so much. Do you want to answer?
Yeah, so as Cypriot, and for you who lived here for the past at least 15 years, the Cyprus brand has been damaged. I remember I was in London as a student, and I was telling I'm from Cyprus, I wasn't very proud, sometimes I was just saying I'm from Greece, because of our Greek roots. So I think what we need to do is to promote the good side of Cyprus, because Cyprus has it has substance. And if you tell a guy from Germany about Cyprus, he will think that we're just an island like, I don't know, Rhodes in Greece. They don't understand that that the island is developed and has so much, like strong ecosystem, because I believe Cyprus is already a tech hub, but at its early stage. And we just need to grow it and use, also the companies, the existing companies who are here, which if you take any ecosystem, like you had the first flagship companies who moved here, who moved to the ecosystem and have built the ecosystem. I think for an ecosystem to thrive, like number one is talent. And I think we have worked towards that, and we're attracting the best talent from the region and globally. But at the same time now with the future of work, we see a lot of remote workers moving to Cyprus and work for Google, let's say, in the UK, because Cyprus is an amazing place to live. The second thing is we need also entrepreneurs. Like my personal ambition is to see more companies to be created in Cyprus. And this is how, I don't want to bring Google, I want to build our own Google in Cyprus, So and I think we need to encourage entrepreneurship. And the third thing I think is also really important to have available funding. And I'm not talking about grants from the government and this kind of incentives, but also have sophisticated investors. We have a lot of successful entrepreneurs also today in this room that can invest directly to companies, but also we need the venture capitalists that will accelerate the growth of these startups. And last but not least, we need a very strong and open-minded government to do the policies, and that's why we are doing this debate. We have been doing this debate today, and we want to brand Cyprus as a tech island. Silicon Valley is called Silicon Valley for some reasons, and we can't be, in my opinion, Silicon Valley, or we can't be the startup nation like Israel. We're something unique, and the uniqueness lies to our name, which is Tech Island. We have this up-and-coming ecosystem, but at the same time, we're literally an island, and we have things that other countries don't have, even like California, right? I mean, we have this safe environment, this lifestyle. We have amazing location. We're the crossroad between 3 continents. The world is developing more east. With Dushan, we traveled recently to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and we have seen how, I don't know, how the ecosystem there is thriving. And imagine Cyprus is the first European country in the closest proximity to them, so we can be a gateway for technology companies from Middle East to Europe and vice versa. So I think Cyprus has a lot of unique value propositions, and something really interesting that happened 1 month ago. I had a call with an American friend who attended our festival last month, and he was referring to the other American friend that Cyprus is the tech island of Europe, and it's not the place where money laundering happens and we issue passports for the wrong reasons, let's say, right? So, and obviously we're also to the UK, we're competition, right? So, we don't need to give any opportunity to any country to magnify our past mistakes, and we want with TechIsland to magnify the best things about Cyprus.
Basically, innovation includes tech. So we can't build from the beginning, let's say, Google in Cyprus, because we have lack of talent. That's why it's important to welcome companies, to welcome talent, and this talent starts to, mobility is happening from company to company, and then we have people who were in wargaming and then launching their own startups. It's already Cypriot startups, and they're raising funds from Cypriot investors, let's say, yes? So, Dusan.
Just to address your argument, I can compare, the ecosystem building with my home country, which is Slovakia, where I've been building my first company since 2013. And Cyprus has really, really leapfrogged Slovakia, and I can also kind of compare it with other countries. We have Hungary, Czechia, even Poland. I think Cyprus is really doing a great job. But to your point, I think, for any ecosystem to be built and kind of be successful, there needs to be this sort of organic growth and maybe a bit messiness, which you're also describing, like, hey, you guys are addressing that. But it all comes down to actually really supporting tech-minded people and people that want to be, building their, careers or companies in tech, because we believe tech is the future. If you look into the fastest growing industries and also where the world is headed, it's tech. So I think, also touching what Valentino said, there is definitely a lot of room for improvement, but at the same time, this is still very early. There is going to be a lot of mess. There's going to be a lot of confusion. But I think what we all are aligned on is eventually we want to help Cyprus to become a tech-dominant, player globally. And it doesn't matter whether it's startups, it's scale-ups, it's corporations, it's service providers. I think, putting our bets against tech is going to be the best, bets we can do. But it's just going to be a messy process. Always innovation comes from messy environment. So it all, only at some point it clicks, right? So we're still before the phase where it clicks, but we're working on it.
That the big vision includes all these little things. So thank you very much.
Also, maybe just last point from me. Also, technology sector is the only sector in the economy that helps all the other sectors, including real estate, for example. We see big technology companies like investing, then demand of property is because of this relocation of these employees. So, yeah, and I think, this is...
Yes, it was a question why Cyprus promoted as tax haven, not as a technological hub. I think it's too premature for Cyprus to talk about that it's just technological hub and let everybody come here because it's technological hub. So it still should be some incentives and motivation to come here. And I believe that Cyprus still need to gain some muscles. Muscles in terms of number of people, number of talents, number of businesses coming here. And eventually, it will be more startups, more new businesses, cooperation with education and other things. So everything you describe, maybe it looks again messy, but in fact that it all supporting the same idea. So Cyprus acquiring new people, new talents, digital nomads, headquarters, businesses, and then more and more companies and people are coming here. And I think maybe in 2, 3, 5 years, Cyprus can declare that and become a tech hub. And companies will come here not because of taxes, but because it's already many, many companies here. If you compare it with Silicon Valley, so Silicon Valley is not about money and is not about even Stanford or education. So Silicon Valley is about people. So many people come in there and they meet each other, doing business. So Cyprus just start gaining this momentum. And I think Cyprus still a bit need to promote itself as a, not tax haven, but a good place where it's cheaper, safer, and better than in other places in Europe. And yes, eventually companies and people will start coming here because of other people and companies, not because of taxes.
There's one more important thing. One of the candidates mentioned it today. It's the government needs. It's not only about to bring the technical companies here who wants to relocate somewhere because of the tax haven or etc. It's because, let's say, 10 years ago, the parliament, it's 70% of legals. or accountants or the bankers. And now, because of this crazy activity around the Cyprus or inside the Cyprus, they are thinking, where is our engineers? Where is our IT guys? It's a national question right now for the Cyprus as well, like for the government.
We have point that have leading persons in charge of specific categories, GR, banks, investment, and etc. Basically, the way it is working right now, I will explain, and maybe the person who made the comment can elaborate more. The working groups supervised by someone from the board. For example, for the startups working group, we have supervision of Mr. Angelos Gregoriadis. For the banking compliance working group, Peter is supervision in the working group. So basically, we do have person in charge of specific activity, and I also saw that working groups to be structured in the way with specific plans of action that will effectively operationalize TechIsland's overall strategy and vision. And we do have the action plan for each working group. Here was the good point about, let's say, PR and communications. For sure, we need to make it more visible. We should communicate better. And basically, even this, yes, that we have this structure, we have the people in charge. If someone wants to add to this point what was what he or she meant, in terms of person in charge, yes, Alex. Alex.
Yeah, hello, my name is Alex Vasekin. I'm the CEO of a tech holding company. Because of we are a new member of TechIsland, so maybe we don't know something about some structure in detail.
It's not because of you're new, it's
yes,
because
yes.
of we under-communicated it. So.
Yeah, the idea was that in TechIsland a lot of different members, like more than 200 companies, so it's big negotiation chain. So and sometimes you really don't know what other members can do and how they can help you or how you can help them. So it's about networking. So if like such a person already in group, so it's very nice that we have to find some negotiation, maybe to help to solve different problems together. So that's all.
It's a fair point, and basically we are now designing the new website, and the new website we will have more transparent structure and also more transparent overall strategy of the TechIsland. Active lobbying in education sector and promotion of STEM to children. We have enough lawyers and accountants. We do have some ideas for that. For the direction. They are still in the process of ideas. So, and we are planning, as I mentioned, to launch the education working group, and it could be also one of the action points of this education working group on how to engage and involve people more and more. Today, one candidate, Mr. Averov, mentioned that TechIsland should promote to new generation and visit different countries and universities and promote the tech industry. This is also one of the ideas. So basically, we are open to specific projects and suggestions and ideas on how we can involve and promote STEM to children.
I can add as well. So because it's quite a typical question, especially from Cypriots. Okay, you're here as IT industry, how you can help our education sector to grow. So I believe the best thing we can do is just to be here and provide job places, because it's already great promotion. I think now in the new generation, they already quite know that if you want to have good salary, especially on Cyprus, you have to go to IT. So we don't need to maybe even promote it specifically, because rumors go very fast in Cyprus. And I believe that new generation who is in school now, that much more people will go to STEM. STEM education because they see that this is just opportunity, financial opportunity. And it's the same reason why there are many accountants, because accountants was always quite high-paid people in Cyprus. It was image of successful person in Cyprus. And that's what universities already say, that they usually had good cars, good houses, and children see them as a role model, and they want to be accountants. So I think now we create a different image of Cyprus, and children of this age, I think they already see our companies, at least some of them, as a role model, and they want to become part of that. So I believe it will change education behavior eventually.
And I also would add that we supported, and our member companies supported the Kid IT project, which is like free education for gaming for kids. And even the lessons are in the member companies. So kids are coming to real offices and learn to do games in real gaming companies. So, and also we worked together with Heritage School and helped the last grade students with free internship opportunities in summer. We're doing this, but maybe...
We also supported the Cyprus Tech Career Fair that IMH organized that. Basically, it was the first career fair that was focusing on tech. And basically, a lot of our companies, we invited them and they had active participation there. A lot of schools went to visit this exhibition and see opportunities in tech sector. But yeah, it's a total change of culture, because the culture of Cyprus until a few years ago was based on professional services. So the people were going to be lawyers or accountants or go to school. So it's one of the works that we need to do, and we also need the help of you as companies, is to change this culture in Cyprus and educate the young generation that there are opportunities in tech. And actually, we are the last country in percentage in Europe that we produce IT specialists. And we are among the 3 bottom in STEM graduates. At the same time, most of the open positions are focusing on IT professions or STEM education. We need to do something on that. Of course, it's something that we are looking, and we are ready to engage in more projects on this direction.
Yeah, I was just going to mention what Tanya said, because I think it's important to note the ease. I was at the school at the time that you mentioned, and the idea came with Sienos and the Tech Island team to bring an internship type of program together, and the amount of Tech Island companies that rounded up so quickly, and there's a lot of logistics involved to get students who are under a certain age, the legality involved in it to do summer internship programs. I think it's about cultivating that, expanding it to different private and public schools, and also targeting the age group where they, I know in Cyprus they pick a pathway, that they're on their pathway and they can still make a decision that they're not, totally into the accountant realm or whatever, that they still have a choice to kind of mold. So it's really, it's there, and it's what we said before. It's important first that Tech Island is marketing what they're already doing. I'm sure many people didn't know about this. And also other private schools and public schools are joining the initiative as well. So kudos to you guys.
Just to mention something quick in the education part, because I'm a member also of the Cyprus Computer Society. It's an IT association the last 40 years in Cyprus that they're working on this education part. And for example, to pass a law in Cyprus, it took us like maybe 10 years to put the programming in the schools. It takes a lot. So it's not something that you're doing wrong or anybody's doing wrong. I mean, actually the government needs to next year to put robotics. We are pushing the government. For example, with society, we had the last 2 years, we had the robotics, the biggest competition, one of the biggest competition in the world. 30 countries, we competed with China, India. Our teams came first in educational robotics. we have so much talent, and actually robotics is the way to learn STEM and then learn coding or whatever and get out there. I think also see a collaboration there. I think we already discussed with Marios in the past. Maybe now things are more clear. Maybe it's good to see combine forces, because it takes it's a long-term education. It's a long-term, unfortunately, game, and you need to play for many years to change mindsets, etc. And yeah.
Let's go to the questions. So the most popular question, and I would definitely ask someone from our board to reply on that. What do you feel as TechIsland has achieved until now?
I think the main thing, what we achieved, you have seen from the presidential debate. So everybody talk about our ideas. Everybody talk about that Cyprus is a tech island. Everybody think how to improve things, incentives. Companies now considering Cyprus. I can say from my company as well that during COVID, for example, many people feel that they need to leave to another country, and many people left to other countries because they felt that Cyprus is a village. It's not their future. They want to be in Berlin, London. They want to work in Amazon, Google. Why they should be in Cyprus and in the company which is not well known in the world. But now it's changed when I talk to employees as well. So the perception is very different. They say something happening here. So they're part of something big, and it's developing. It's like golden age of IT in Cyprus. So everybody feel that IT is growing. Everybody talk about that. Everybody supportive. Everybody understand that it's one of the main pillar of economy. So I think this is the biggest achievement. Not some laws and policies. So it will eventually come if everybody in their heads understand that Cyprus' future is IT, not tourism, not agriculture, even though it's good sectors, but the real future of Cyprus is that. So I think it's the best achievement what we have.
Yeah, maybe I can add to that. You know, like Cyprus is just a 60 years old democracy, and we have been through a war, like through different crises. And, you know, we started promoting Cyprus as a tourist destination, then, and tourism was one of the main things. Then we started introducing incentives about the shipping sector, and we attracted the biggest shipping companies in the world. We're still on the island. Then we became the service hub of the region, so we're exporting services. And now I'm very happy because the government can see that the next evolution, I mean, we're not going to agriculture because that's over, but it's technology, right? And I think everyone agrees here that the next decade, we're going to see an exponential growth of the tech sector in Cyprus. And in order to do that, you know, we're talking a lot about engineers, but we don't talk a lot about entrepreneurs, because personally, I think these are the people who bring the change, you know, and we need to also promote more entrepreneurship, because for the past, years, we're promoting security also from a very young age. That's why all of the people, they want to become public servants, because we are penalizing mistakes and failure from a very young age. So we need to give the chance to people to fail. And that's why also personally, I believe, science, invention is really important, but without entrepreneurs, you can't do anything. And in Cyprus, there's enough funding and grants for research and different let's say scientists, and that's why we need also innovation, liquidity, so it can give chance to entrepreneurs to take the leap of faith and build big companies in Cyprus. Eventually, these are the guys who will employ 200, 300 people, and for the entrepreneurs in the room, we all know that we can find solution. We can convince any person from all over the world to relocate here and be close to us, to the team. So I think it's something we also need to promote. And I think we have very good examples on the board of TechIsland. and should be the role models for the next generation.
If I'm allowed, I would like to, because I know Astelianos since 2015, and we have, he participated in some of our events as well, here also out of Cyprus, and I would like to answer to Valentinos. I think what happened through Astelianos' vision, it's a miracle for Cyprus, knowing that everyone was relying on government to do something about this, and for me as a Cypriot, I think they haven't done enough to talk about. So for me, it's a miracle that a private initiative came up, and now they are really sitting down on the same table and they listen to the private sector and trying to do something more practical, more meaningful, rather than taking initiate initiatives that they didn't bring, I can say, some results. But now I think I would totally agree with Astelianos. And I would say, honestly, it's because they were, since years ago, they were doing on a very slow pace. Now I think it's doing very fast. And if TechIsland was created like 1.5 years ago and achieved what it achieved, and sitting here and discussing what we can do more, that's a miracle for me, knowing what was Cyprus a few years ago. And I would like to thank the team and Stylianos also personally and the rest of the team. Thank you.
I would take the power of the mic and will bring to the table the important question about tax law and exception rules. What about candidates from the local market? Will they pay more taxes if they change the employer in Cyprus?
Mr. Angelos, I think.
Yes, it's small mistake in the law which government recognized, because they mentioned first employment, meaning that you first time come to Cyprus, not meaning that if you change employment, it's your second employment. And as far as we know, they already applied this change in the parliament, but unfortunately could not go through before holidays, so they're going to do it either in January or in March, and most probably, what they say, they will try to apply it retrospectively, but it's not clear yet. It's the problem for particularly this year. But it will be definitely changed next year. So the only open question is, will be retrospectively applied for the previous year for people who are affected, if I explained correctly. Yes.
This is what we are expecting, that hopefully they will pass it retrospectively to apply for 2022, because they see this will be unfair, that will apply only from 2023. So this is something that...
For 4 years.
Yes, but it was done by...
If it's a small change, usually they do it.
It's for the benefit of the taxpayer. If it's for
blockchain law, you think it's not for the benefit of people and companies?
Sorry. You moved on. Sorry. I thought I was talking about the tax law. Sorry.
Yeah.
Blockchain. Okay.
About this amendment, it comes from the Minister of Finance, Tax Department, so it's approved by everyone. So it's like a technical amendment. So it doesn't seem that it should be something.
For social enterprise, we expect the technical amendments last 2 years. We passed a law in 2020, and we're expecting the regulations the last 2 years. They were expecting September to pass, so you'll be able to open a social enterprise in Cyprus, and after February. They close now. We need to close 50 days before.
Under which ministry is that? Under which ministry is that?
Subdivision 5 of the finance. Under the cooperation, there is a department. Yeah, actually nobody wanted to get the social enterprise law and that's why we delayed like 2-3 years. It was something that was introduced by Betridis and some others still went to. 5-6 years ago. Anyhow.
But in this particular case, it shouldn't be a problem because it looks unfair and it looks like a slavery. So if you change an employer, you start paying more taxes. So meaning you get less salary. So it's quite obvious mistake, and everybody in favor to change it. Just for some technical reason, they couldn't do it by the end of this year, from what we know. But anyway, of course, we don't control these things. So it's parliament, it's politicians. So let's hope everything will be finished. Will be fine.
Okay, next question. How can we find more about working groups and seminar days? Basically, we are sharing this information to our chat in Telegram and also to our newsletter digest, which is monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, when we have a lot of content. Is it possible to join the working groups? The way it works, the working groups always is initiated by someone. It could be initiated by member, and it could be initiated by board member. If it is initiated by member, we always invite someone from board to supervise and be in charge of the working group. And we make an open call, again, through the newsletter and through chat to the members who wants to join. Yes, it's under decision of the chair of the working group who is eligible to join the group, but it's open for everybody. For new membership fee format, eligibles are only second and third to apply to the working group. Now our working groups is set by 7 to 8 people, and most of them are from big companies which is really experienced in the topic. So this is, let's say, eligibility criteria. Yes, I'm going to this. Who is eligible to join TechIsland? So for us, it's important for company to be here and to have substance here. By substance, we mean not just the legal structure, but people and employees. We have, as you saw, different types of members. Member, let's say it's a tech company which has more than 20 employees. And for these companies, we expect them to have in Cyprus at least 5 full-time working employees. For startups, in our definition, it's companies which are under 20 people, employees. We accept even 2 officially employed people working for this company. For us, it's also important that the point of contact, because for point of contacts, we accept only directors, founders, or let's say C-level executive, which is relevant to the topic, that those people are ready to contribute, to participate in events, in surveys, and working groups. And this is it. We have not easy process, I would say, to become a member of TechIsland, because we have first call with our operations team, and then we pass all the collected information about the company to our onboarding committee. Onboarding committee, it is the body with 4 board members, and they are reviewing, let's say, the final comments and suggestions about the company, and after that they made a decision if we accept a company or no. For us, it's important to have reliable, not necessarily well-known, but just reliable organizations under the community.
That means you don't accept individuals within the community?
No.
Okay.
Sub-individuals, no. Only, let's say, company is represented by individuals, but if a person doesn't have the company here, no. We are mostly like B2B association.
Interesting. Thank you.
What does TechIsland need to become stronger in so that to make an even stronger impact? What does TechIsland need to become stronger in so that to make an even stronger impact?
More engagement from the members. Engagement from the members.
On the Web Summit to make TechIsland booth?
It costs around $500,000.
Yeah, we know. We already know. We already know.
And then we'll make him.
Are you willing to support?
Basically, I agree with Marios that in order to be stronger, we need more people engaged and contributing, not just money or paying membership fee, but with expertise, with ideas, thoughts, project, time, basically, because all what was achieved was done, let's say, on a free-time basis of very busy people, but and they did it on the good for everyone. So if more people can unite and launch together projects, then we all together can become stronger as an association.
Put the groups under the member, you need to pay to be on the groups, because I believe the biggest work is the groups that will make the biggest work. So if you want people like us to get involved, that were probably I would be a simple member of I don't have €1,000 to give you. Sorry, at least at this moment when I raise $500,000 for my new startup, I will have.
For startups, it's 200 actually per year.
Okay, even 200. I mean, but they will not. They will have access to the groups, because I have seen that you did. Yes. Yes. So okay. Good. Φάμε πάλι. For you, I would pay the 200. And another thing is the 9%. Averov mentioned a 9% in the 9% in the GDP. That number actually was referring the State of Tech report by Atomico that was launched 2-3 days ago. Actually, Cyprus is among a few 10 countries around that they are actually growing fastest even than US. Because US usually...
Sorry, I will again use the power of mic, because we have one person wanting to say something.
Thank you. I was relocated as a wargaming employee to Cyprus 5 years ago, and I fell in love with the island. 3 years ago, I decided to quit the corporation and to start my own company. And I had no question where it should be based. Definitely Cyprus, because it's a place where I enjoyed living for myself, my family, my kids, and my friends. And as an entrepreneur, there is always this balance of the ways that you live and the ways that you work. I really enjoyed living in Cyprus, but there was lacking some points in terms of work, like hiring people, getting connections to the VC money, and so on and so forth, legislation. And I'm really glad that TechIsland and all who are here are working hard to make this place a better place for entrepreneurs, not only for living. I mean, entrepreneurs who already got some money, built big companies and came here just to enjoy living, but also for starting entrepreneurs who are on this way, on this journey, and they need the resources that you're about to provide to make this place better for entrepreneurs. Because I've been to the Silicon Valley this summer. I've been to Web Summit this autumn. I was talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, and now they are all finding different places to live, which is the best place to live for them in terms of both work and life. So now Cyprus is becoming a place where those both components are finally getting together. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Costa. Thank you.
different activities.
Yes.
Similar to work harder, play harder, right?
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
As a person who also came from a very well-structured ecosystem, which is maritime in Cyprus, I just wanted to acknowledge that it didn't took us in the industry 5 years or 3 years or 10 years. It took almost 30 years to build this ecosystem. Sometimes I hear from people that they weren't that much patient about what TechIsland are doing, but what you guys doing is great. Personally, I came also from maritime industry, and that's when I started in 2014. I had a crisis, which is an entrepreneurial crisis, in 2018, and I was about to leave the island. Where I'm going? Rotterdam. Why? Because it's a nice place for maritime. But this community, you really, I would say, implemented the technology spirit inside me from an old school industry in maritime, old school. We don't have technologies usually, until I found this in Reflect. When you guys first time you brought Sophia, the robot, and I just would like to congratulate you for everything you have done so far, and I wish you just can manifest more like-minded people like you, because this is exactly what TechIsland needs. Enable for us to turn into a technology island, I would say. Because my story is very similar to Konstantinos when he came here. And as you know, probably we both are foreigners. We are not Cypriots. But we feel it now home. And I would like this to go, and we would like to see Cyprus as a technology island. I just would like to congratulate you, and I hope also you can try to manifest like-minded people from different industries, because this chart I saw, fintech and gaming is the most. But there are huge things are happening, for example, in maritime industry, where I work today with a company reaching $1 billion in Norway, in technology as well. And this is great. And this company is in the stock market, and they came to Cyprus from Norway to do acquisition for a Cypriot company last year. But probably TechIsland, you don't know about this, because it's in another industry, which is maritime. Excuse me? Why not?
Because this is what Tanya mentioned. We will always do that. In the weekend, I will send like 300 companies, startups. I will send that they are not in the platform, usually early stage. I will send them an email to go and register in the platform. This is what all we need to do.
I mean, this is exactly what we also feel like we would like to contribute within. Like Konstantin, myself, many people, probably individuals. And so, you know, sometimes I always like even say this because my side hustle is I'm also an entrepreneurial and business consultant, visionary consultant for early stage startups, but as an individual due to tax reasons. However, I do agree and I do see that great things takes time. I always even say this to startups. A Toyota can be manufactured in 6 hours, but a Rolls-Royce takes 12 months. So great things usually take time. And I do see the potential in your community, but I hope you can find the way to manifest more people, because you just need people. People will bring the businesses. People will do many other things for the island and for the great community. Thank you so much for having us. This is great. You brought presidents on a stage. Come on, guys. Literally. No, honestly, I came originally as well from Middle East, which also it takes very long time to establish something or just bring your voice somewhere. Come on, if I bring the mayor on a stage in Middle East, that's going to be a huge achievement. But I'm bringing a candidate of a president, someone who's going to support my statements tomorrow. I would imagine Trump joining Cyprus. So,
guys,
thank you.
On behalf of the board, we would like to thank you for your kind words.
Thank you so much.
It's very encouraging to hear all this.
Thank you so much.
Just before we go, a plan that we have that has not been implemented yet is to visit universities and talk to the first-year graduates there to encourage them to come to Cyprus for internship and start telling them the story And this is what the accountants are doing in terms of promoting the first-year graduates there, the services that accountants do. This is what we should be doing as well. And this is the place where we can attract some good talents, Cypriots or not, doesn't matter, as long as they are willing to branch off to the network. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you all. It's good that you survived until now.
To all of us.
We're punctual, 5 minutes over time. So thank you, and we are looking forward to see you again